The gospel lesson today tells of a woman who had a spirit of infirmity for 18 years. She was bent over and could in no way lift herself. When Jesus saw her, he called her, laid his hands on her, and immediately she was made straight. This miracle reveals many truths. The first being the power of Christ to straighten out that which is crooked, but not merely our crooked bodies, but also our crooked lives. Of all the creatures in the world, man is the only one who is made to look up. But sin bends us, and instead of looking up, we only are able to look to the ground. The more we surrender ourselves to God and ask for His mercy, the more we will be able to be upright and straight. For many of us, this very simple statement is not such a simple task. Have you ever noticed how rivers rarely run in a straight line? Usually they are full of bends and turns, which causes them to be very crooked. The reason for this crookedness is because the water is constantly flowing to the line of the least resistance. Well, the same is true for our lives. Many times, instead of following Christ, we follow the line of what appears to be the least resistance. And little by little, we are overcome with temptation and sin. The end result is a bent over and crooked life. Simply, the more we sin, the further we distance ourselves from God, the more bent and crooked we become. And eventually, the day comes when we discover that we, like the woman, are living our lives bent over looking at the ground. Brothers and sisters, we must be mindful as to not allow ourselves to reach that point of complete crookedness. You may ask how we can accomplish this task. And it is simple. We must live our lives in the church. And in other words, we must live an active liturgical life. We must make confession a regular part of our life. And we must pray unceasingly. This, my friends, is the next important truth of today's gospel, the power of prayer. In the gospel, St. Luke says that the woman was in the synagogue where Christ was teaching. This woman was there to pray. And because of her faith and her prayer, Jesus did not ask or need to ask her what was wrong. He simply laid his hand on her and she was healed. Christ was able to recognize the woman because of her supplication, her prayer. Focusing our life on Christ through prayer and liturgical practice places us in God's presence. As witnessed in today's gospel, prayer has the ability to stop Christ and center his attention upon us so that he can hear our cry for help. God is always present, waiting to help us, but his help is based on our own capacity to believe and to live in him. Living in God means that one must always and everywhere be with God. Such a union with God is only possible through prayer. I pray that the Lord help us to come to him with our bent lives, that he may make them straight again and union with him. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit.